Let me see, got it. Let's close this. Let me see, got it. All right, hello everyone. Let me make sure everybody can see me and see Rhonda in a moment. I'll spotlight her when we are done talking about that. We are having our lunch and learn, and today, it's the 1st of February. And we are talking with our special guest, Rhonda, and we're focusing on business structure. So I'm very excited to have this conversation today because this is one of the foundations for businesses if you're forming small business in the United States. So my dear VIP friend is Rhonda, and she is going to be sharing about her story, about the importance of business structure, about how military spouses can probably get into her industry, and other gems. So you need to listen to her because she is like a VIP to me right here. So let me spotlight you, Rhonda. Thank you for saying yes to coming to our lunch and learn and sharing your wisdom and your expertise to our community. And if you have any questions, drop it in the chat, whether we're going to answer it now or before or after, we will. So we'll answer your questions. Go ahead, you have the spotlight.
Thank you so much for having me, Marlene. This is truly, truly, truly a great opportunity for the both of us. I do want to introduce myself. My name is Rhonda Pearson, and I am the CEO of Belle Designs, which is a custom apparel business that specializes in rhinestones as well as business branding. Now, my business, even though I'm a CEO, my business is only officially will be 6 years old in April. And the reason why I started my business is because I could not find anyone to make trendy tees for me at a reasonable cost. So after wasting a ton of money, I decided to invest in myself. So I went out and I bought a Cricut, and I bought some heat transfer vinyl, and I used an iron, and I made my first t-shirt. The funny thing about it is that when I started my business, I didn't have everything that I needed to be successful in my business, but I had people around me who believed in me and would not allow me to give up. So with that being said, I made my first batch of t-shirts, which were absolutely horrible for someone's graduation. And when I say horrible, I mean, it's funny now. It's funny now, but it was for someone's graduation, and bless their soul, the vinyl was coming off at the graduation. But they were like, Rhonda, it's okay. We still love you. We're going to support you. And that one person pushed me. So I was able to go from just getting a couple of orders a day to now where I'm sold out weeks at a time. So I'm really, really, truly, truly grateful for that. But along my journey, I have learned a lot of things. With that, I've learned the importance of having a good business foundation. A lot of people, when they look at people who make t-shirts or make customized items, they don't take them seriously. They just think that there's someone who does this as a hobby or a side hustle. But me, I'm the little 6-figure t-shirt guru. So I take my business seriously. And because I've done that, I have been granted certain opportunities. So I believe in my heart that my business is no different from yours. I feel like I'm no different than Walmart, So the importance of having a business structure is extremely important, because when you lay a strong foundation, you can not only get opportunities for funding, but you can also position yourself correctly. So initially when I started, I was doing stuff wrong. And there's nothing wrong with, getting your feet wet. I was out here robbing Peter to pay Paul. If I sold a couple of t-shirts, I thought that I had a profit, which was wrong. So with that, throughout the years, I've learned that, okay, Rhonda, if you're going to do this, you need to do it right. So that's when I took time to myself, because lo and behold, despite me doing this and making mistakes along the way, I hold an MBA. But when I was in college getting my, degrees, got my bachelor's, my master's, when I was getting my degrees, I only took one course on entrepreneurship. One. And they didn't go over the things like register with the state and, making sure you have your business license and getting the EIN number and all that great stuff. It was just about a high overview of entrepreneurship. So with that being said, I had to do my due diligence and do research for myself. I started asking questions. If I couldn't get the answers that I needed, I went to old faithful Google and Google spit it out for me. So even with the t-shirt business, even though people may not take it as a real business, you still have to have your EIN number. You still have to file your taxes. You still need to be registered with the state. And because, like I said, that goes back to making sure that you're a legitimate business. People take you more seriously when you are legitimate versus, oh, I just do this on the side. Oh, I just do this from time to time. But I'm going to tell you, but as, a military spouse, this industry can be very lucrative for you, because my dad, he was in the Army. He retired a sergeant major. So, when I came along, they had stopped traveling. But before I was here, they traveled a lot. And I know that spouses with small children going to different schools, being moved from place to place, you can't necessarily find someone quickly to do specialized or customized items for you. So with this type of industry, or in this type of industry, you can take the services that we offer. We have classes where we teach you how to do it yourself, or you can take the shortcut route and take the class that that shows you how to do it without an actual cutting machine. But back to what I was saying, like if you have small children or even teenage children, having this as a tool can save you money, because if you're moving from place to place, you don't really know anyone in these new places. So guess what you can do? When your kid comes home, Mom, I need a 100-day of school shirt, because that's the thing that's going on right now, right? And they need a graduation shirt or a pep rally shirt or something. You just pull out your handy dandy cutting machine and you fix them a shirt up real quick. And if it's something that's really, really popular that the kids like, guess what? People are going to buy it. Once you realize that it is something seriously that you do want to do, then what you can do is you can actually start making money off of it. But you still want to make sure that you have your structure solid, because in the event, if you blow up, which you will, because you'll create great products. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. At first, it may not be great, because you have to practice. Practice makes better. Not perfect. It makes better. So once you start, it may not be what you want, but you'll get there. But when you do blow up and opportunities are granted to you, like you send your child to school in a shirt, and the school comes back to you and say, hey, we need 200 of these shirts. Then what are you going to do? Because they may come back and say, well, do you have your business license? Are you registered? We need to have these documents in order to work with you. And if you don't have these documents in place, guess what? Even though you create a great product, they can't work with you. They cannot work with you. So that's the importance of having a structure in place. We create all of these great products. We have all of these great ideas, but when it comes down to it, if the opportunity is presented and you don't have your ducks in a row, then that opportunity is one that's missed. That's good. You want me to go on some more? Is that good? I just want to make
share some tips. Like what would be like, you said a couple of stuff, but like share some more, like what does it look like to structure your business as a t-shirt business?
Okay. as a t-shirt business, first and foremost, you need to make sure what type of entity you want to become. Okay. So initially, a lot of businesses, they start off as a sole proprietorship. Me personally, because of the volume that I have, when I decided the structure for my business, I decided to go with the a LLC. I can't talk now. I decided to go with the LLC, and that's because of the risk that was involved with the type of things that I was doing. I wanted to make sure that me personally, I was protected. And I know with the limited liability company, it's limited, but I needed that limited protection, if that makes sense. In addition to that, we make sure that we keep our funds separate. So our personal from our business funding or money, we make sure that we keep that separate. So we have a business checking account. I don't know if Ms. Marlene has spoken to you all about it before, but it is so important that you don't commingle your funds. It's important on so many levels, because if you are going after funding, they're going to look at these things. They're like, oh, she can't, keep her stuff together. Why is Walmart, Burger King, makeup, she bought some Nikes, these aren't business expenses exactly. Why is she using her business money to fund her personal life? That's an immediate red flag for lenders. So you want to make sure you keep that separate. And then also, you want to keep her separate because of how you will file taxes. You commingling your money can get you in a lot of trouble. And that is not what I'm about. If you know anything about me, I like to keep things on the straight and narrow, because I don't want to go to jail. Want to go to jail, but
oh my God,
that we have our DUNS number, because as a t-shirt business, we work with credit. When we have large orders, we may not necessarily have that amount on hand. So guess what? We operate with net 30 accounts. We operate with business lines of credit. And you need your DUNS number to get that type of stuff. You need your DUNS and your tax ID number. It says, me either, I keep my account separate.
I don't want to go to jail. Yeah.
Right. So, business credit is extremely important for my business. And part of that, it goes back to that business structure, because guess what? They're not going to give a hobbyist a line of business credit, because you don't have your structure in place. You don't have your tax ID. You don't have your entity type. You don't have a business banking account. You don't have your DUNS number. You're not listed in the directory. And let me just give you a story real quick. So I've been doing this for about 6 years, as I told you. I was being vetted out by a corporation, and I didn't even know it. And by the time that they came to me for me to provide a product to them, they had looked at my website. They had looked at my social media. They had Googled me. They called my business number. Now, when they called my business number, I didn't know exactly it was them. I didn't know it was them, but they called that number. And when they reminded me of the call, I was like, oh, that's what that was. So they checked me out to make sure that I had these things in place before they granted me the opportunity. And that goes back to the business structure. Okay. So I had my website that was a representation of me and my business. I had my social media intact, which is a representation of me and my business. Those are the things that they look at. In addition to, oh, you have a great product. Most companies and most people who want to work with you, they vet you first, whether you know it or not. Think about it. If you're on social media and you have a nice dress that you're selling, what are they going to do? What is the first thing that they're going to do? They're going to look at your page, and then what they're going to do? They're going to go to your personal page. And if they see the dress on your personal page, they're going to immediately try to go to your business page. And if you don't have a business page, they're going to say, I don't think I should spend my money with them, because they might try to scam me. So everything that I mentioned, you're registering with the state, your EIN, your bank account, your DUNS, you're listing yourself in the directory, you're searchable. What is the word? Is it searchable on Google? Yeah, you're searchable.
You want to be searchable.
Where you'll pop up. If you type in Belle May Designs right now on Google, I'm going to pop up. point blank in the period. So you have to make sure that those things, and I go back and check from time to time.
Yeah,
but,
me too.
That those are in place. And believe it or not, I was financing a piece of equipment because you have to have certain equipment when you make t-shirts. And the thing that they told me, that was like, hey, Miss Rhonda, we can't find you on the Secretary of State. I was like, oh, I'm there. Let me give you this control number real quick. And here it is. So even when financing pieces of equipment or computers or whatever it is, guess what they're going to do? They're going to vet you out, and they're going to go to the Secretary of State, and they're going to look up all of this information. So having your structure in place is, I can't stress how important it is, because other opportunities, but if you need funding for your business, that has to be in place. I can't stress it enough. Some of the tips that you can do to make sure that you have it, there's checklists out there. I know Ms. Marlene has a checklist. I don't have a checklist, but it's all over my social media. But but those things are important. You don't want to get stuck in that hobbyist category. You want to be taken serious as a business owner.
So, all of those things that you just shared are like very important. I know I did a checklist, and I hyperlinked like where to go directly on the checklist. I think I did with this one. Or, if you don't have it, we're like, this month, I'm going to be all about like business structure, because you can't start, a business without a foundation. So all of January, we was focusing on vision and, going forward and what you want to do. I know you just had your vision board
I did.
party. I wish I was there. You don't understand. When I saw it, I'm like, should I book a ticket?
But I'm going to tell you, Miss Marlene, I'm going to tell you, like, most people, what they do is they wait until January to start their business. And this is the perfect time to make sure that you get everything in order, because of the simple fact, I don't know about you, but in Georgia, this is the registration period for the state. So you have this time that you put in your renewals. You don't want to wait until December to get your structure together, to pay a fee, only to turn around to have to pay another fee in January and February. So this is the perfect time, because it's in line with how the state operates, and they want their taxes and fees and all this stuff. So if you are thinking about taking your business to that level, which you should, this is the perfect time to start getting that structure together, because I'm telling you, once you get the first thing, it's like a row of dominoes. Once you hit the first one, everything else is going to fall, but it's going to fall in line. It's not going to the wayside. It's going to fall in line, because getting your EIN, your registered with the state, your bank account is going to come easy. And I'm even give you a tip. Even as a t-shirt business owner, let me tell you, I walked into Truist Bank. I have an account with Navy Federal already, but I wanted a local bank here. So the Truist, and I was like, hey, I want to open up a business banking account. They was like, okay, come on, sure. So we did the paperwork or whatever. They was like, well, do you need any credit cards? Would you like a business line of credit? I was like, wait, I just came in here for for a business banking account. I wasn't expecting all of that. And she was like, yeah, we could do a no doc loan to up to $25,000. I was like, wait, I don't want that.
I need to go in today.
No, I don't want that right now. And that's another thing. Be mindful as business owners. Opportunities for funding will be thrown at you left and right when you're structured properly. But at the same time, you have to be wise in regards to what you take from these different companies. Wise, because if you're not ready and you don't have a plan for that money, don't take it.
If you're going to go buy stuff and spend, because I just got some business credit, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to use that, because whatever I'm going to use it for, it needs to be an income generating.
You need to get your investment quickly.
Within 30 days. I don't want the interest.
that part. And people fail to realize that when they get this type of funding, you'll pinch off of it, and then it's gone. And what you had the intention for the money to use it for, you can't now, because it's gone. So your structure allows you to get that funding, but if you don't have a plan in place with that, with that funding, don't get it.
Yeah.
Don't get it.
And that's a really good tip like that too, because they know people think, okay, I have the structure, I'm getting the money, I'm going to go get that money, I'm going to go buy all these different things, but you need to make sure that, okay, will that bring you a return?
Right.
Even when I had to say, and last month I decided to outsource and I got an administrative assistant. But I said, okay, the reason why I'm getting it because I need to create, be able to have space to do income generating activities. So whatever I give her should be something that will help me generate income to pay her salary, even though I have that money. So we don't have to be like, I'm saying, hey, you work for 12 weeks and I can't pay you anymore and you got to go.
Right. Absolutely. You want to make sure that you have a consistent flow of money. And all of these things that I've mentioned will help you do that if you have a plan in place. In my opinion, having a strong structure and a plan in place is essential. Like, it's crucial that you have that. If you don't, then it's gonna put a crack in the foundation and things are gonna fall apart. You can do all these things like register with your state and all this stuff right here, but if you don't have a solid plan, you did all that for what? And I don't know the cost wherever you all are, but it's a nice little chunk of change that you have to pay to be registered here.
Yeah. Here, if you, and then if you get registered, not that much here, but if you register in Florida and then you go inactive because you can't afford it, to re-register or to reactivate it is like 3 times the amount it costs to like register. And sometimes people pay that because they want to have that years in business, or they like forget it and start a new business. But it's just like, it's hard to learn that lesson the hard way, because I did it for I learned that the hard way for one of my businesses. So I was like, I'm not doing that again,
And that's thankful for platforms like this because, due to the pandemic, we've been able to expand our reach by doing things like this. And it will help so many people, so that they know the things to do and not to do and things to be on the lookout for, because learn from our mistakes. Don't go out and make the same mistakes. Learn from our mistakes and take heed to the things that we say, because we've been there.
Yeah.
We've been, and we can attest that, that sometimes that's not the best place to be at all.
It's not the best place to be at all. So it's like, okay, we need to like try to make sure you have that vision. You have that vision in your head. Let's have that foundation. Let's make sure that we have the structure in place, and what helped us develop that structure is because we have an amazing coach,
Right.
So, so good coaches have coaches that are good too. So, and so that, and then she has her own coaches too. So we know we're learning the right thing. And, so we're going in the right direction because you can see that, she said she put like, she put inside, she have, going inactive will cause you to pay more. Sandra said that. So I was like, you said that what made you go from 0 figure to 6 figure? What was that process like? Because you said, 6, that was one of the questions I wanted to ask you. So I was like, what was that process like? Because, we're going to be millionaire status soon.
Yes, we are claiming it. But what that process was is I started building relationships. I started building relationships with people and I started trusting God. So if you don't know my story basically, I started my t-shirt business out of anger because I was mad because somebody charged me too much money for a shirt and the shirt was not right. So I began doing shirts and I got a lot of orders from the people that I worked with. And so this particular year, the job that I had, I was like, I'm only gonna work there for a year. And then I look up, it was like 5 years later.
That always happens.
I don't want to do it anymore. And the funny story is this lady, she approached me and she asked me if I could do rhinestone shirts for her convention. It was only a few. And she didn't know that I was getting ready to go into the hospital to have surgery. And so that shirt, when I tell you, It ripped me a new one. It gave me the hardest time ever. And I was like, you know what? I told my boyfriend, I said, just give her money back. I need to go get ready to go, to the hospital because I was having surgery next day. And he was like, no, just push through. He said, when I drop you off at the hospital, I'll go take the shirt to her. So he did. And lo and behold, when I was in the hospital, now, mind you, I didn't know this lady from a pile of rocks. So I'm in the hospital waiting to have surgery, and she calls me and she prays for me. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but wow. So I got out of hospital, and you have your recovery period, whatever. And when she called me, she said, "You back working yet?" I was like, a little bit. And so she was like, okay, I'm gonna introduce you to my upline, and she buys shirts all the time. Mm-hmm. In December, she bought like $5,000 worth of product. Wow. And she was like, do you think you can deliver? I was like, yes. So she used me for different projects here and there. And then that's when the next year came, and she introduced me to her entire team, and I made $10,000 in one day.
Wow.
And I was like, oh my goodness. And so that particular year, I didn't hit 6 figures that year, but I had made the most money I had ever made while I was in business. And it was the next year is when I hit the 6 figures. Wow. I was like, and it was all done through relationships and providing a quality product. Mm-hmm. So when, they have the little saying out there, no new friends. No, that's not me. Come on, let's talk. Come on, let's talk.
I know for me, this year is a year of collaboration. And, last night, we had our assignment of doing our monthly business reviews. And I was sitting there like, you know what? I did a lot in January, although I was thinking I didn't do nothing. Mm-hmm. And I go back and I sit down like, okay, I did this. I put, it's a building relationship really sets mm-hmm. up your momentum to go forward in your business.
Right. And I also say that, when we had our MBR last night, I didn't feel bad about, not meeting all of my goals. I knew I wasn't going to meet my financial goal because with the industry that I'm in, January is always slow. For me, it's always slow because people are coming off of Christmas. They ain't got no money. The money that they do have, they're going to spend it on the things that they really need and not a t-shirt. So I know that January is not my, woo, I made this much money month. No. That's the month that you plan and you prepare for the rest of the year. You take classes, you make investments. This year, I moved into my own office. So that's how my January looked. Now, February, now that we're in February, it's time to hit the ground running. So that's what that process looked like, as far as the road to 6 figures or whatever. But yeah, it was solely done through relationships.
That sounds like a book, The Road to 6 Figures. That sounds like a book.
It does. But I will honestly say that I am truly blessed, and I don't take any of this for granted at all. And even though that is a highlight, there has been some dark times in the business as well. And I think a lot of people, they don't take that into consideration because entrepreneurship is like this. It's not like this all the time. So I've learned some hard lessons, but I've also know the type of spirit that I have, that I'm not a quitter and I'm not going to give up. So I'll invest, I'll read, I'll ask, but I won't give up and I won't stop.
Yeah. And I don't want you to stop because I met you at DovCon. We were like online for a while and like, okay, I want to meet her. And I got there and she's like a sponsor and I met her like, oh my gosh, she's super cool. And then I got my whole swag pack from you. You don't understand. Every single time I have to go, like, you have a business card? I'm opening up my little business thing with my logo on it. Make me look all professional. When I have my shirt on to like show my bag. My bottle got me connected. I have my bottle. When I went to conference, I had my water bottle. Although they gave us a bunch of bottles as a giveaway because the military, when you go to military events, they give you a lot of free stuff. And they had some really good bottle, but I rocked my logo bottle clear there and like, what is this? And I was able to share my story.
It's a starter.
Yeah, so it was a real great conversation starter. So a t-shirt, extra stuffs are really, those paraphernalia stuff are really
Right.
important to rep your brand wherever you
Right.
go. So it's like, okay, I told Rhonda, I'm going to be ordering some more stuff. I have she's on my investment list,
Oh,
but because that's an investment that I would need. Today I found, today or last night, Broward, where I'm at right now, they're
mhm,
having a networking stuff in June. So
mhm.
I registered for that, but then they give you option to be a speaker if you want to register to be a speaker
Oh,
or have a vendor table.
mhm,
So I am trying to register as a speaker, but I'm trying to figure out, I'm working on my topic. But if I
mhm.
register as a speaker, I need to rep my brand. If I do decide to be a vendor, when the coach say be a vendor at
Right.
there, I need
Mhm.
to rep my brand. And I'm not going outside my circle to buy stuff.
And and that's the thing. That's the thing. Like what I have grown to learn with connecting with all of you, is that everything pretty much that we need is right here.
Mhm.
It's right here. And if we support one another like we should, then everybody could be successful. But I say that loosely, because in order to be successful, even though success looks different on different people, you have to be willing to do the work. You know,
Yes.
we can support you, we can refer you, but you still have to be willing to do the work. And that's the real way that you can get results. Me personally, I know that I'm really competitive with myself. So if I'm doing something, I'm gonna always try to do it in excellence because I always want to try to go to that next level. And in order to do that, you have to do it that way.
Yeah, yeah, that's so
Mm,
true. That's so true.
yeah.
I was like, I'm just like thinking of everything that you're doing. Like, it's great to have like this opportunity, like to ask her everything, ask her everything that you need. But what is one thing you're looking forward to this year? Like one major goal you're looking forward to accomplish this year?
I am looking forward to expanding my speaking platform.
Okay.
Um, because I'm not going to tell my age, but because I am getting up in age,
You're still 25. Don't worry about it.
right, I'm looking forward to not working hard, but I'm a hard worker, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
Um, at GovCon last time, Hamza, he said that he doesn't get his hands dirty. And I was like, well, I want to get my hands dirty either. So in that aspect, that's what I'm looking forward to is I'm going to pivot, even though I'm still going to continue to have my t-shirt business because that's always going to be the bread and butter of my business. But I look forward to speaking with more people, to reaching more people, to encouraging, and even perhaps putting on a couple more events because I had a blast.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to this year.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully by that time I'll be like, hey, I'm coming and I'm coming
Mm-hmm.
in style.
Right,
Make room for me. Make
right.
room for me for that
Yeah.
too. I don't know if our guests who were on the chat want to have any questions or want to weigh in or add value to it before we like get towards the end, because I want to make sure I give space for if you want to unmute and ask a question or type it in the chat. You have Rhonda right here to ask her a question. So
It's don't be shy. Don't be. Oh, I'm
yeah,
really, really friendly.
yeah. So she said she said this sound like a book too. So hopefully you are working on writing that book or that checklist. Cause
Put something up my sleeve. We'll see.
okay, because that's what I think we were talking about. You need yeah, having a book also open doors for speaking engagement. Also,
Mm-hmm.
too. So it was like I had to like I'm working on that, but I don't know if it's gonna be this year.
Yeah, that's one of my things that's on this year to do a book. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We
We'll see about that. So like I'm like really happy about just hearing your story and hearing what's going on. I do have the checklist. I'm going to put it in the show notes. It's on the site, and the checklist goes into 3 phases.
mm-hmm,
I broke it out to 3 phases: phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3. So
mm-hmm.
phase 1 is the red light stage. If you don't have that done, You need to get those done. If your business is not registered, you don't have your EIN, you don't know you have your business banking, those stuff you need to have them in place before doing it. I've been going to events and even networking events, and I'm looking at other people's sites, and I'm looking at the smallest detail that would also say, okay, they don't have everything in place. Like one thing that always stood out to me is whenever their email is not right, and you've been in business for 20 years,
and you have a Yahoo,
or you're telling me to Zelle to your personal account.
No.
So that makes me a little red flag. Like, how are you doing business? How are you still in business? How are you not investigated by the IRS or it can be a big explanation of why you haven't scaled yet because limited on what you're doing. So yeah, so that's my biggest thing of, okay, at least pay the $14, get your domain from the Google Workspace, and get your email.
But I'm gonna tell you, pay attention to when I go to your website and you don't have an about me page. I'm like, I don't know anything about you.
That's so true. Because I don't do business with some people because of that. I don't know who the face is. I don't know who I'm working with. I just see the business. I know about the company, but I don't know who is the one who created the company.
Yeah, that's my thing. That's my thing. I don't, that's not one of my favorite things. I'm like, what do you mean you don't have an about me page? Where is it? Because when you can connect with someone's story, that makes them more willing to buy from you because they feel they can relate to you or they have something in common with you. So when I go to websites, that's one of the first things that I look at.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So, hi, Rhonda. Hi, Marlene. So I know, like you said, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So on my website, I do have an about me, but I don't have any pictures of myself. Maybe one, that's about it. Do you think it's important as the owner of the company that I should have more pictures of myself versus just my services?
It depends. It depends. What industry are you in?
Professional services, as far as administrative. I do loan signing, fingerprinting, document preparation, ID non-verification for small businesses.
Okay. So my personal opinion is that you can go either way. It depends on the client, really, that you're dealing with, because some people, they want to know that whomever they're doing their loan doc sign or whatever with, they have a professional look to them or a certain look to them, because they don't want somebody showing up in t-shirts and jeans, tennis shoes, these important documents. So you can either go that route, maybe just one on the about me page or something like that, or about us page, but then on the other pages just have it more polished. So you don't have to have a ton of pictures. Me personally, I only have one picture of me on my website, and that's on the about me page. When I first started, I don't want to say leery, but I didn't want my face on everything, if that makes sense.
Because that's how I feel. I'm trying to break out of that, but yeah.
I think you should use it when it's necessary, but if you had like a nice professional picture on your about me page, I think that would be sufficient.
Yeah, and I was on like a Hello Alice branding thing yesterday, and they're talking about the CEO is the new logo. So we are you might have your logo, but when you think of Tesla, you don't see Tesla's logo, you see Elon Musk. When you think of Facebook, you don't look at the F, you look at who the founder is. So usually the founder represents the business, most of the time in this day and age with everything going on. So I agree with you that it depends, but depending on who your client is. Like for me, businesses, I know when I'm looking at some business and I want to do work with it, depending on the businesses, I need to know who I'm working with. I need to see,
okay, space.
Yeah. I think also with COVID is like, we haven't been connecting so much. So you want to say, I want to build connection. I want to go back to that relationship. And it doesn't necessarily have to be multiple pictures all over the place, but you want to have, hey, this is me, I'm the founder, maybe one picture or two, and you should be fine with that too. So like it's a delicate balance, and it basically what your business what you're going to do with it. If you plan to sell your business later on, then you might not want to be the face of the business, because if you're going to sell a business afterwards, you know, my business, it's my name spelled backwards. So like, either way.
Notice that.
What?
I said, I just noticed that. I just noticed that.
Like it was like intentional, but not intentional, with, you know, like about that. But I don't know if that answered your question, Sandra, if that was helpful.
No, that was very helpful, because that was my challenge. I don't have a problem with showing myself, but I just didn't want to be plastered all over it. I wanted to highlight my services more. So, but you know, when you guys were talking about that, it made me think, you know, that does make sense. They want to see who they're dealing with. So no, that helped. Thank you.
Yeah.
But I have one more question. So did you ever think, Rhonda, where you are now, like you said, when you started, you was upset with the shirt that you brought, and that's what brought you to this industry. Did you ever think you would be where you are now? Because to me, you're successful. You know, I follow you through Coach's mentorship program. And the times, like you say, because you do have, as an entrepreneur, you do have those dark times. How did it push you to still get to where you are now?
Did I ever think that I would be where I am right now? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because I'm gonna tell you, when I left my job, this was before I made a whole bunch of money. Before I left my job, my main thing was that I wanted to be able to pay my bills and still be able to do the things that I like to do, which is travel. As long as I was able to do that, I was fine. So I never thought that I would be in this position. Truth be told, I never thought I would really be an entrepreneur, because when I went to college initially, before I flunked biology, I was going to school to be an obstetrician. So being an entrepreneur was never like in the plan. I think when after I flunked biology and I had to choose another major, I was like, okay, business is easy because you can kind of relate that to anything. So yeah, it was never written out for me to do this. My dad was in the military, retired sergeant major. My mom, she was basically a stay-at-home wife. So, well, my granddad, he was a plumber. I guess he's an entrepreneur, but it was never, you know, never. But as far as the dark times that kept me going through it, I mean, kept me going, is I have a strong circle. And at the time, I was taking one-on-one sessions with Coach. But more importantly, at home, I had a strong circle. People who wouldn't let me give up. Like, my dad is one of my biggest supporters. Even when I thought, when times got slow and I couldn't pay my rent at my office space that I had at the time, he was like, here's 3 months worth of your rent. Don't worry about this. You get it together. And I was like, Daddy, no, this is not yours. He was like, no. He was like, I see how hard and how bad you want this, and I believe in you just that much. But on the other scale, or on the other side of it, I had my mom saying, girl, you ain't gonna make no you ain't gonna make no money with no t-shirts. I was like, wait a minute, no, you're not gonna speak that negativity over my life. And with that being said, you know, I could have easily let that stay in my ear, but here I am right now because I didn't listen to what she said. And she even asked me the other day when I moved into my new office, she said, you gonna be able to pay your rent? I was like, Mom, I wouldn't have moved if I couldn't pay my rent. So, but like, to get through those dark times, I had my circle to lean on. I had people who at the time believed in me more than I believed in myself. And they told me to keep pushing. They told me to keep going, that I have this, you know. And I've experienced a lot of things through just life. Life has been lifing for the past year, for real. And I could have easily given up, but one, I know that I don't want to go work for anybody else. Hey, that was like, Rhonda, you know you don't want to work on nobody's job, so get it together.
Yeah.
And two, just having a strong support system in place that sees the light when you don't necessarily see it.
Yeah. No, I think when you say it with that, I hear like CEOs are built differently from the chat. We're built different.
They are built differently. They take the good with the bad and turn the bad into good, you know, because even with my story, with the way that life lifed last year, you know, who's to say that when I tell my story, it doesn't have an impact on somebody else that is a CEO that's going through the same thing. Like at the end of the day, we're all humans and we all go through things, but also at the end of the day, your customers don't care. So you have to keep pushing and keep going despite what you have going on, but also realizing that there has to be a balance. So you have to know how to step back and take a moment. You have to know when to pump it up.
Yeah.
True.
That's so
Thank
true.
you.
Oh,
That's good.
You're
Go ahead, girl.
this is what I want to hear, you know. Just
Amen, amen, amen.
Amen. Yes, you know, we are built differently, and I love your story. You know, so you know, we're coming towards the end. So
Yes.
how do people get in contact with you if they want to, like, you know, connect, buy some shirts, brand themselves?
Yes, it is. There are several ways to get in contact with me. Of course, you can always go to my website, which is designed by Belle, and I think I'm going to type it in the chat. If I'm on my phone right now, so I'm gonna see if I can type it in there real quick. You can also email me at contact@designedbybellamay.com. And really, those are the ways that you can get in contact with me. Now, I do. Wait a minute. I'm trying to multitask. Hold on, just one moment.
I was trying to find it for you to put it in the chat for you.
I almost got it. Okay. I'm trying to do it without moving the phone. All right. .com. And on the website, it has a contact us or contact me link on there where it'll send me a direct message. But also, if you ever wanted to get into the t-shirt industry, we do have a t-shirt course where it's self-paced and is basically how to start a t-shirt business without a cutting machine. So it tells you market it, it tells you how to price, it tells you where to get your products from, it tells you all of that great stuff. And so, you know, if you are in the military and you don't necessarily know where everything is, I literally give you all the vendors and what to get so that you can start your t-shirt business without a cutting machine. And a good thing we have going on with that right now, if you do get that, we'll send you a starter kit out where you get 5 t-shirts and 5 transfers.
You know, and if I think the military have a way that they can apply for a grant as entrepreneur to get that course, so they can just say, you know, this is some of the courses I need. I think it's within under like $2,000 if you have money for it. They can I'll look for the information and put in the chat, but they're able to use that funding for entrepreneurial professional development, and that's a professional development right there that they can use to invest in their entrepreneurial dreams and journey. So thank you for sharing that, because I can't wait to see your road to, you know, not 6 figures, your road to $1 million.
Yeah, it is. As well as I can't wait until I see your journey unfold. I know you're working on some major things and I can't wait.
Yes. So thank you for being on. We're gonna like stop our live in a few minutes, but we do have my sister reminded me said that we do have our business mentoring group going on. So if you need someone to walk you through that journey of structuring your business this month, of going through the technical stuff, because I like to do all the techie stuff also, and show you all the little other ways you can make your business more streamlined and more efficient. You know, we're going to be working on that. So the checklist is one, but I need to promote also the business mentoring group that is forming, and we meet weekly just talking about that. So yeah, I know we're already a part of our mentoring group, but for those military spouse who want to get that journey, you know, you can join here and we can go through that process. But thank you for joining.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
So we'll see you guys in 2 weeks for our next MilConnect Lunch and Learn. Let me stop the video. Bye.